welcome to Sanji's kitchen, where we don't need the cookbook for today again. You want to know why? Today we're about to make Chopper's Rumble Balls. Now the Rumble Balls in the actual anime are more of a jawbreaking consistency. Chopper uses these nice little candies to help enhance his abilities for only a short amount of time. Now here's the thing. I'm not gonna make a jawbreaker. Nope. You know what's also the equivalent of a jawbreaker though? Donuts. Yes, this is an analogy. Are you getting it? Yeah. Basically, we're gonna do our own take on Rumble Balls in donut form. We'll be making regular sized donuts, but more specifically, we're gonna focus a little bit more on donut holes. Now, I've never made donuts before in my life, so we're gonna be on this wonderful journey together. And you're kind of wondering, what do we need for this recipe? Well, very quickly, the ingredients to make the donut itself are going to be 1 cup of whole milk warmed, 2.5 teaspoons of instant or active dry yeast, 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, 2 large eggs, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter melted and slightly cooled. This is very important. 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. This thing is already giving me trouble already, so I hope it's worth it for this recipe. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 4 cups of all-purpose flour, but you have to make sure this is spooned and leveled. This is very important because I haven't been spooning and leveling my flour. Yay, I keep forgetting to do that. And for frying, you can use 1 to 2 quarts of vegetable oil or canola oil. In this case, I'm using canola oil because why not? It's a little bit different and fancy. And we're going to be doing glazed donuts for today. So what you need for a glaze for these donuts is going to be 2 cups of confectioner sugar. I can talk. Folks, I can really talk. 1/3 cup of heavy cream, half and half or whole milk, and 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla. And since we want to make sure that these look exactly like Rumble Balls from the anime, yeah, I'm holding food coloring. We want to make sure that we get the exact color on these, right? And hopefully we can. And the one thing cool about donuts is that you can do whatever you want. You can make them plain, you can put some sugar glaze on it, you can make a chocolate ganache, dip them in. The possibilities for donuts are endless. And that's what makes it fun. So, why don't we get started, shall we? We're going to be using our stand mixer. If you don't have one, you can literally do this by hand. Totally fine by you. We have already put our yeast in. We've put 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, and we've just warmed up our cup of milk. So we're going to combine them in the bowl like so. There we go. That's pretty. And then you're going to take your whisk, or if you're doing this by hand, you're going to use a wooden spoon. You're going to give the ingredients a mix. You're going to stir it all up like so. Wish I could show it to the camera, but trust me, it is the process of making sure every single thing is mixed in here. So we'll make sure it's all mixed, like so. Next we're going to cover it loosely with a cloth, like so, right over it. And we're going to let this ferment, froth for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to do 10 minutes max because that's, for me, the safety route. So make sure that you set your timer for this, folks. And wait, because donuts, this is for patience. You want to be patient with this recipe. Look at it! Milk and yeast and sugar combined. Ain't it pretty? And now, we put the rest of the ingredients in here. So just the remaining sugar. How is it that it requires 1 tablespoon of sugar, and yet, I already did 1. Needs 1/3. We'll figure things out as we go along. It just means there should be more sugar in here. Yay! Alright. Alright. In goes the sugar. Wow, look at that, eat it up. We got our slightly cooled butter. Pour that in. Like so. Half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Trust me when I say nutmeg is important. It's what gives it the nice, rich tones of a donut. If you don't have that, you're gonna get more of a cake consistency more than anything. Another teaspoon. And this is me, so you can do a teaspoon of vanilla, but I always like to add an egg, put it extra, just in case. Now, about 2 cups of flour and the 2 eggs. This is gonna be a fun one, guys. Now trust me when I say I'm gonna be cracking these off screen and I'm gonna be pouring them from a bowl because it's much easier that way, so that way you're not getting eggshell in your mixture. Also, make sure, folks, that you wash your hands if any of the egg gets on you. You do not, I repeat, do not want to cross-contaminate. We want our kitchen to be safe. We want our kitchen to be sparkly. I don't care if I'm off screen. Like, I just don't want a kitchen that's going to make a recipe ruined if you get egg on your hands. And I don't mean that as a pun. But we got them in the bowl. We're gonna dump them like so. And now we're getting our flour. Just trying to move it. I'm nearly using my oven space as a counter right now. And don't worry, it's off, folks. We don't want danger in this living space. But we got our flour. And we're gonna be spoon leveling. Now, this is something I should have taught the last time. And I know what you're thinking. Casey, what is spoon leveling? Here's how. Spoon leveling is the actual proper technique to get the right amount of flour in. Now, mostly when you scoop and then scrape, you're not getting the right consistency. So what you do is you take your spoon and you put it in the cup like so. Well, so try and be careful not to spill flour on my oven. And you just place it in. So that way it gives a better consistency with your dough. Usually I forget to do this, so I just scrape in. So I accidentally have more flour than I need to. And I don't mean to, but it happens. Alright, and then if I feel like I have access, I'm going to scrape. So we're doing 2 cups with this so far. So we're going to dump 1, like so. And now we're going to be doing the next one. Because this is a new recipe, I don't want to take chances in messing this up. So we're going to just be doing the spoon leveling of flour for today. So, but also, how are you doing? I'm having fun scaring. I know the audience doesn't care about that, and probably by the time this airs, I may not be scaring anymore. So, yay! That's 2. Alright, we're going to take our dough hook. If you do not have a dough hook, that is okay again. You can whisk this by hand. You can use a normal whisk, whatever. We're going to take our dough hook, we're going to attach it onto our stand mixer. Make sure it's locked in place. Place it down, lock it. And do not forget to plug your stand mixer in. And then for 1 minute, we are going to put this on the low speed setting. And so in that case, it's going to be 1. And make sure, while it's low spinning, while it's mixing, you have a spatula on hand so that way you can scrape the sides of the bowl. Trust me when I say have a spatula on hand, it's very helpful in baking. You're able to scrape everything off the side while everything is being mixed. Alright. It's been a minute, so you are going to turn this off. Be very careful when you lift this up. Like so. And then we're going to scrape the sides of the bowl. So that way the rest of this can be mixed in. No! Get in my hand! Safety! This is why you have a paper towel on hand. Also said that I was going to almost say poncho from Parks and Rec. Poncho! Even though I'm not wearing a poncho. But I am wearing an Agatha Harkness shirt. Sanji's Kitchen is not sponsored by Marvel. I want to make that known. And with that, we are going to put the last 2 cups of flour into our mixture. And I realize now I should have done the whisk instead of the dough hook. It's okay. We learn from our mistakes. Alright, and that's the last of the flour. Now, if it doesn't look like it is sticking enough, do not worry. You can make sure that you have a tablespoon of flour with you, so that way, in case it's super sticky, you can add 1 tablespoon of flour while in your mixture. Now, since we have it in, we're going to pop it, lock it. We're putting this on medium speed for about 2 minutes. Right now I see that my dough is still sticky, so I'm trying to add 1 tablespoon at a time. But make sure you do this in increments. Like so. We're now going to let this we're going to keep it kneading on the machine for 5 to 7 minutes, or you can knead this by hand, however you wish it. But make sure that you keep an eye on this. If it becomes too sticky during this process, make sure you add a tablespoon of flour to this. You want to make sure that it's sticky, but not extremely sticky. We want to work with this dough. This dough is going to be our donut, so make sure that you're keeping an eye on this between 5 to 7 minutes during this process. I will see you after those 5 to 7 minutes have passed. With that, about 7 minutes. I barely did this for 1 additional minute just in case, because time is a factor. And so, you're going to take a bowl. Yes, this is comically big. I'm aware of that. You're going to lightly grease it. You can use butter. You can use Pam spray. You can do whatever you want. But if you are using Pam spray, make sure that you spray. And make sure, this is very important, that you use a paper towel and wipe it so that way it's still nice and greasy, nice and oily, nice and bubbly. Nice and bubbly? Where did I get nice and bubbly? I don't know. That sounded like, that was Carter. Carter wants the bubbly. Totally. That little Doug wants the bubbly. So we're going to make sure of that. We're going to take our dough, lift it, dough. Ooh. Oh. Make sure when you have the dough, it is sticky, but not super sticky. And I think I got it. So we're gonna make sure that we scrape the dough accents. Ooh, heavy. This is heavy. I keep saying heavy. Is heavy like something extreme that happens in the future or something? I don't know. But we're gonna lift the dough. We're gonna also we're gonna make sure we also form this dough into a ball. Why? Because it helps rise better. That's why, folks. Also, this dough is not, it's sticking to my hands, but not super sticky. And I actually like that. I've had other doughs that it'll stick to my hands. So this dough actually is very nice. Again, shape it into a ball. Like so. I really hope you heard Rosen say yay in the background. So we're gonna wrap the top of this with plastic saran wrap, and this is why it takes forever and patience. You're gonna leave it in a warm place for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yay! It's been about 1.5, almost 2 hours. Look, it's doubled in size. It's so pretty. We've lightly floured our surface. I like using like the fish cutting board because we don't make a lot of fish dishes in this place. We technically did do a fish dish outside of this, but here we're just using this. We lightly floured it. We're gonna take the dough, and this is in the recipe. We get to punch it. Punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it. It releases a lot of the air out. Don't punch it too much or else you get some dough on your fingers like I just did. But that's okay. You just pound it. Like so. It helps to get any excess air that's in the dough out. It makes it much easier. Because I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna roll it onto the lightly floured surface. Like so. Get some excess dough. Here we go. Now, technically, if we wanted to, we can also do additional kneading, because if it's sticking like so, we can do an additional knead if we wish to. But we want it to be a very sticky consistency. See how it stretches? It's nicely thin. You want to make sure this is the type of dough that you want for your donuts. Hopefully I'm getting this right. I'm just doing like one little, nice little knead, like so. I will say this, out of all the doughs I've made in my life, this is actually one of the most satisfying ones. And you can see the speckles of the nutmeg in here. Like, you could try to pick up on camera, but you can see the speckles on the nutmeg, which are found normally in a donut. And so, I'm going to lightly flour the dough just in case, the part of it just in case. We're going to flour the top of it. And then, we're going to flour our rolling pin. Like, do not be afraid to flour the rolling pin. Because we're going to take this, we're going to roll this out until it's 1/2 inch. Which, I'm going to be fully honest, that's going to be difficult because this is a big dough. Like so. Alright, you got 1/2 inch right there. So if we have to, and we might have to, we're going to probably have to cut this in half. Because this is pretty big. So make sure you have your scraper cutter. Cut the dough. We're going to core these into different sections, and we're still going to roll them, but it's always best to have it, like if it's too, especially if you're working with a small stage such as I am, you want to make sure that you just quarter these. I'm also still kneading it, so it's nice and pretty. I'm just going to cut this portion in half, like that. You're gonna roll this until it's 1/2 inch. And you can eye it, trust me. Like, I just rolled mine. Now, it says you need a donut cutter. I did not know those existed. So if you want to do my way, if you wish, you're gonna take a glass cup. You're gonna plop it down. You're gonna twist it, like so. Be careful. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, technically we're making donuts, so they have to be perfect, but I'm
And then you got one donut here. And if you want the nice perfect hole, we're gonna use a piping tip. We're gonna go in the center. We're gonna twist the heck out of it. Oh hell, right, I could curse on the show. Forget. And then you got a donut hole. This is my own take of the donut. And we're gonna put them on their own separate trays. Now this recipe is supposed to, and I quote, make 12 donuts in 12 donut holes. This is me we're talking about. So we're going to find out if it is possible. And the cool thing is you can re-roll some of the dough and make sure you keep an eye on it while you're making it, because if it puffs, if it gets airy, you can still punch the air out. So we're gonna, ta-da! Honestly, this is not bad of a way to do it. Though I will say the donut holes are gonna be incredibly tiny. In which case, I do apologize for that. But in the meanwhile, we will jump cut very soon to when I'm done with all this, because quite frankly, folks, while this is nice and relaxing, it will take a while for me. We want to make sure that these Remo balls are nice and pretty. And it's really hard to go half an inch, but mostly half an inch will be roughly around here. You take a little bit of half of it. Baking is a science. It's a science fact. We've learned about that last time. Baking is a wonderful science fact. You're doing ingredients, you're making science. It's the wonder of it all. I will be returning when I'm done with this, so have fun. Alright, it's taken a bit, but apparently this recipe does about, well, I think if I estimate my math correctly, kinda. I'm supposed to make 12 donuts. I have about 15, 18, 19 donuts and 19 donut holes. There's one tray over here, one tray over here. What you're gonna do is for the next half hour, with a loose cloth, cover them so they rise, and we're gonna do that. And we're not gonna heat our oil yet. I'm gonna wait until it gets a little bit closer, but these are looking awesome. I'm excited, guys. I'll see you in the frying process. Alrighty, our dough has risen. Awesome. Our oil is currently going. You want to make sure that the canola oil is at a temperature of 375 degrees Fahrenheit. If you need to know how to do the temperature, I recommend getting a Canadian thermometer, because it's able to help you exactly know how much you have left. And I'm going to be frying the donuts off camera because I want to be safe. But basically, you have to put about 3 donuts at a time. And you're going to be cooking each side for 1 minute. And make sure, I'm also trying to make sure the temperature is not there yet. We're almost there. And I literally can't even put it onto my pot. But make sure when you do, you have a nice little drying rack for the donuts. I put Reynolds Wrap on the bottom because we're going to be reusing this for when we do the glaze portion on top. So I'll jump cut in a minute for when the donuts are present in 3, 2, 1. Here are the donuts in all their glory. We just did the main donuts. We have the donut holes to go, and we're going to be doing that off screen. So that's not fun, but we're going to show you how to do the glazing right now. Alrighty, while everything is being cooked, we're going to be doing the glaze. And we're going to be doing this quickly because I'm literally doing the donuts in 1 minute intervals. So you're going to need 2 cups of freshener sugar, 1/3 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Alright, we're going to do the vanilla extra flavor. And I need to flip donuts. Like I mentioned earlier, you could use whatever milk you want. I need liquid cream. I'm using heavy cream for this one. So we're gonna pour some drizzle.
We're gonna just do a tiny break before we do the donut holes so that way we can get this glaze done. Because it recommends that we dip them in while everything is still, the donuts are still warm. So right, here's one. And come on. 2. And specifically, we are making these into rubber balls. We want to make sure the glaze is just right. So, we're going to take food coloring. I got the yellow one. We're going to drop in 1, 2. I'm hoping this turns yellow. We'll find out together, boys and girls. And then we're going to whisk. Like so. Alrighty, there we go. Oh, it's already turning yellow. There we go, guys. I'm also regretting that this needs more heavy cream. There we go. Just gonna add a little bit more heavy cream. Whisking business. And there we go. Wow, that's a bright yellow. Alright. Now, this is mostly stirred. So what you're going to do now is I'm going to keep the whisk because I might have to put some more. Also, look how yellow it is. And we're going to dip the donuts. It recommends double siding, but we're going to say that for the donut holes. We're going to dip like so, wipe the excess, and we're going to let it dry. Dip. Oh no, this one's breaking. No! It broke! That's okay, that's going to be the tester. Here we go. Like so. Dip. Access. Let it cool. Dip. Access. We let it cool. We're going to repeat this process for every single donut that we do. And so I will get back to you once I put the donut holes in. Alright, after letting them cool for almost letting them cool for 20 minutes. This is one half of it. The rumble balls with some regular donuts are done. There's kind of a yellow glaze on it. But at the very least, they're done. And now, taste test time. Are you ready to try rumble balls and feel powerful like Chopper? Alright. They might still be sticky.
Rumble! Oh, those are really good.
Alright, I'm trying a rumble ball over here. Cheers. Yeah! Holy shit!
S for sure.
You know what? This is the first S drink, and you know what?
It's not the first. The first was the Beyond the Ball for me.
That's, well, for you. But this is my actual very first S drink, and it gets a Sanji kitchen seal of approval.
It's really good.
Frozen doesn't get that approval, because this is not my kitchen. So it gets the seal of approval for me. Holy crap. I'm going to also now try a regular donut, because it's a lot more puffy. And this is from the broken one, so.
Maybe the other one?
Okay.
We're good.
This is good. I need to finish this before I do my final thoughts.
Usually with donuts, they're too dry. This is actually not that dry.
No, it's airy. Like, I actually thought, that I had raw dough in them, but I didn't.
No, it's perfect.
Definitely a win. I think the one thing I would love to critique is I probably should have added, maybe a little bit more food coloring, because there's still not the actual, like, yellow shine. However, these were very good for my first attempt.
Yeah.
And it might make these again as just regular donuts. Because can you imagine the possibilities with the donut dough ball itself? But no, thank you all so much for coming for today's Sanji's Kitchen. What is the next one?
The next one I believe is Pirate Lunchboxes for Crossing the Desert.
Fish eggs. Until next time, you guys want to try a donut?